Hey guys, we're going to continue our game called 5 Questions with Seth Showstrom. This one is Back to Carolina edition. So before we jump into the questions, the quick synopsis, the elevator pitch for Back to Carolina. It's a story about Dean Taylor. He's a guy who grew up in North Carolina, literally days after graduating college, took off, tried to explore the world, make his name. Ended up landing in California, high profile job, making lots of money, having a good life. One of his assignments right before he gets made a principal in his organization is to return to his hometown to close this particular deal. Not super happy about it. Didn't have anything bad with his life. He fled and never really looked back. Just wanted to keep moving forward. Begrudgingly, he returns to North Carolina, and even with the trip into town, he starts having some different feelings as he drives past, turnoffs that he remembers from his childhood, or the old ball fields that he used to play baseball at. He starts to get conjured up some memories, and the memories are mixed. Some memories just make him feel really warm and good, and he's happy to be there. Others, not so much. Not because there's anything terrible about them, but he realizes that he left some things, and more importantly, some people behind. And those people and those experiences start to pain him a little bit. But he arrives in town, wants to get a quick signature, get the heck out. The owner of this company has a different idea. He wants Dean to travel throughout all of the company's facilities to get to know the people before he will sign off on this deal. Make matters worse, the person assigned to take him to all these facilities is an ex-girlfriend that he may not have left in great standing with. So that's kind of the start of his journey. As Back to Carolina goes on, it's really about Dean opening up his past again, and realizing that there's amazing, wonderful people that he left behind and he shut out of his life, and the ability to reconnect with them, and frankly the hospitality of these people as he re-enters his hometown and he gets to reconnect with them. So that's a story about that. There's another side to it, that when you start to actually deal with some of the chapters in your life, it actually opens you up to what your current and your future is supposed to be. So he actually starts to fall in love while on this trip. And what they realize is him dealing with his past and healing that actually allows his heart to heal, as well as the person that he meets along the way. Other than that, you got to read the book, you got to pick it up and figure out Back to Carolina from there. So with that, we'll dig into the questions. First question. Seriously, Seth, a straight up romance? I know, I write thrillers, things that go boom, and car chases, and gunshots, and fistfights. It's kind of more my MO. I got into romances almost by accident. About the time of my divorce, it dawned on me that I was going to have holidays potentially without my son, and that absolutely shattered my heart. From that, a cathartic book spilled out of me called Finding Christmas. And that opened up my writer's mind a little bit to the concept of writing a romance. Not that there aren't romances woven within my thrillers, or standalone romances. Really, it's an animal on its own. So that's kind of where that came from. So sometimes I'm moved. Stories got to be written. Stories got to be told. Honestly, a work trip myself to North Carolina got these thoughts running in my own head. So to a degree, I probably experienced some of what Dean did. Obviously, it was all blown out of proportion in Dean's case, but I started thinking about it. I started thinking about the people that I left behind. And I've never been the biggest social media fan, with exception of you guys, of course. But reconnecting with some of my old friends from high school and college has been amazing. Just like in the book, the hospitality and the ability to reconnect after all this time, it's been wonderful. So I really enjoyed the experience. Inspiration. What inspired me to write Back to Carolina? I kind of teased the lead in a little bit there on that one. It really did spawn from a work trip. And as I was, just like Dean, driving through these places from my childhood, from high school and college, I got a lot of warm feelings, and I realized why did I leave these things all behind? Why did I run from this? There was nothing bad in my childhood. There was nothing bad in my high school and college years. There's nothing terrible. And it's just part of personality, right? To leave the nest, you kind of branch out and you fly away. I never flown back, I guess. However, on this work trip, I kind of went through. I visited my old college. I visited everything from where my family dog was buried to beaches that I'd spent time with friends. And it was very warm for me. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it really opened my heart up to reconnecting with Carolina. Favorite romance writer? Not gonna lie, not a big romance reader, so I wouldn't say I have a favorite romance writer per se. But what I will say, and I probably won't admit this to anybody, so keep it to yourselves. Huge Hallmark fan. I love Hallmark movies, especially at Christmas time. Yes, I realize almost every single one is pretty predictable, but the heart in them is tremendous. It's such a warm feeling. It's like a cup of soup or hot cocoa watching those movies, and I absolutely eat it up. So big Hallmark fan, and when I write anything remotely romance genre related, that's kind of what I think in my mind. So if you're looking for steamy stuff, you're not going to get it. If you're looking for a Hallmarky stuff, I'm your guy. Life in North Carolina, what was it like? You know, honestly, I'm a huge beach guy. I'm a water guy. I love being in the ocean. And if I can sum it up, that's it. I loved being in the ocean. I was big into sports, big with my friends. And that's kind of was my experience in North Carolina. What's interesting, when I go back now, I picture kind of parallel life a little bit. What if, and then part of me, I'm not a big go back in the past guy, which is part of my issue. But I can see having a beach house or certainly something that brings me out there on a regular basis. Ideally, selling books. I'd love to go out there and do book tours and just visit with folks and re-experience that portion of my life at the same time as I grow in other areas. So I would thoroughly enjoy that. Question number 5. This one comes in the form of helping out other writers out there. How in the world do I jump genres? Because I do. My genres are pretty disparate. I have everything from FBI thrillers to supernatural paranormal thrillers that almost border on mysteries. I've done holiday books and then Back to Carolina as a standalone romance. A lot of it's all about your mindset. So for me, the first thing I do when I write a book is I create a new playlist. And that playlist, music just, it's power for the soul, right? So that music puts me into the place that I need to be in my books. I'll even sometimes break up playlists for action scenes or romance scenes or broken-hearted scenes so that I can be somewhat impacted in the moment while I'm writing. When I can, I'll physically go to location and I'll write. If it's at the beach, I'll try to go to a beach. If it's a coffee shop, I'll try to go to a coffee shop. And yes, I do my own stunts. So even with my thriller books, in most cases outside of Patriot X, where they're in like Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Turkey. But for most of my books, if my character's been there, I've been there too. So I do try to experience as much of it as possible. But jumping genre, it's all about getting yourself in the mood and that mindset. I'm also very seasonal. So you're not going to find me writing a holiday novel in summertime, and you're not typically going to see me writing something dark during the holidays. My brain just can't operate that way. So setting, season, and then setting the mood with music or what have you is super helpful. Well, that's it for 5 questions for Seth Shows from Back to Carolina edition. I look forward to visiting you guys on the next book that pops out. Again, if you haven't picked up Back to Carolina already, please do. I always encourage your local bookshop first, especially with COVID. They need it. But you can certainly purchase my books from my website, from bookshop.org, which affiliates with local bookshops, and of course Amazon as well. So thanks for watching. We'll check you on the next one.